Good afternoon. We're joined by Bobbie Jo Stall-Vest, head coach for the San Diego Mesa College women's volleyball team. Coach Bobbie Jo, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me, Bo.
Absolutely excited for the season to start. Let's start off talking a little bit about last year. A pretty successful year. Just came a little bit short towards the end there, finishing third in the state. Of course, we captured the conference title as well. Give us a little bit of a recap, how you felt about the team last season and how it ended.
Yeah, no, we had a really successful season.
Hmm.
Probably the sec one of the top three finishes as a program that we've ever had. It feels obviously when you win the whole thing and you
Yeah,
don't repeat that, nothing quite satisfies.
sure.
But overall, undefeated in conference, which is the first time we've done that in quite some years. So that was a great accomplishment, being ranked number two going into the playoffs, finishing top in the South and third in the state. Still an extremely successful season with a really great group of girls. And so many positives. Just a few points short there of
Hmm.
moving on
Hmm.
into the championship round. And so, but it's good to be back in contention. And I think overall it was a successful season and a great group of girls and one of the best seasons we've had.
Mention, you get to the top of the mountain, right? Per se, when you win the state title, there's a gigantic bullseye in your back that people are going to be gunning after you. And just like every year, there's players that matriculate, they move on. The team always seems to have someone stepping up every single year, and that's awesome to see. The state title year, obviously, you had Kaylin. Last season you had Jaden Mojica, who played amazing. Where has she ended up after Mesa with Jaden?
Jaden is playing at Cal State Dominguez Hills.
That's right. Okay. I mean, she was, AVCA All-American first team, 3C2A All-State selection. I can go on, some PCAC MVP, PCAC first team All Conference. Now that she's moved on, tell me a little bit about the players that have come in this year and who you kind of expect to kind of pick up where some of these, pillars of Mesa volleyball, who's going to be picking that up?
So we have of the girls that contributed last year,
Hmm.
about two or three of them are back as returners
Hmm.
on the court. Bella Town, Bella Barrios, Trina Nguyen are three of our returning players from last year's squad. And I also want to mention that the even though we fell short indoor last year, they went in that same group went and won the beach
Yep.
championship. So that was really cool. And some of for the girls that kind of fell a little bit short in the fall, able to get to the finish line in the spring was an amazing thing to see. And bringing that momentum into this fall with some of those returning group, girls that were a part of
Hmm.
that beach team has been great. So we have a really great group of returning players. We have the most transfers we've ever had, which is also exciting. And then we have a really strong group of freshmen as well.
Hmm.
So a pretty diverse group, very different, completely different than last year, minus a couple
Yeah.
positions. But that's sort of par for the course. So yeah, we're really excited about the new girls, the returning girls, the groups of transfers. We have a really great amount of potential with everybody.
Absolutely. And that's one of the really cool things, the dynamics of the San Diego Mesa College volleyball program itself, not only the indoor, but also beach, in which, it becomes like a factory of volleyball players, right? And we've talked about this previously about how, although the game is different, right, there are things within each game that kind of assist each other when you're transitioning from beach volleyball season to indoor volleyball and back. And so
Yeah,
that,
we love that at our college that so many of the girls do both. We love how
yeah.
they work together. We love what one does for the other game. I think you
Hmm.
can gain a lot from participating in both, not only in terms of volleyball skill, but also in terms of recruitability, being
Hmm.
somebody that can now look at beach schools as well as indoor
Hmm.
schools when it comes to moving on to the next level. I think most colleges in the rest of the country kind of have to pick between the two. But here and at many of the other 3C2A schools, they're solid group that do both at some of the best schools in the state. And I think it's just a unique and awesome thing that we have, kind of accomplished a lot by having the girls do both.
Absolutely. And also the coaching staff. I mean, you yourself, right, who spearheads the indoor team, but also Kim Lester over at Beach Volleyball. Kim has been doing this for a while. Her accolades speak for themselves, including last year's PCAC All Coach of the Year or All Sports Coach of the Year. So, there's never a drop off as far as the instruction these players get. So that's definitely a benefit and a good tool to have, as you mentioned, especially recruiting. We're at 4-1 early into the season. We went 3-0 at the Bakersfield Quad, taking out Bakersfield, Mount San Antonio College, and Mount San Jacinto. And then just recently, fell to Feather River, the defending state champion. Although it was a straight set finish, I believe it was the second set that was 30-28, I think is what it was. Tell me, what did that game tell you about the current team that you have? And Feather River, again, is the returning state champion. Did you see anything about your team or learn anything about them going against such a high-powered team like Feather River?
Yeah, we always schedule as tough as we can. We were super excited to have the opportunity to play Feather River early on. We
Uh-huh.
normally don't see them, until the end. So I think what we learned about them is that they're going to be a very strong team
Mm,
again, and they came out a lot more consistent and polished at this point in the season
mhm.
than than what you often see this early on.
Yeah.
And we still had a lot of things kind of to iron out and some inconsistencies. So it was very competitive and very exciting in moments, but overall our efficiency just wasn't there just yet, and our connection and those things that get ironed out throughout the season weren't quite there yet. And a close loss in the second set.
Mm,
I think if that would have gone the other way, things might have been a little different. But what I think it was a great learning experience for the girls to see kind of what they are going to be up against if they
mhm,
want to make it to the end and contend for another title. So I think that was really important to see that, and really important to find your weaknesses early on and make sure that you have an entire season to work on those things
mhm.
and hopefully get to see them again down the road and have a little bit of a better outcome. So overall, it was really good for us. And we learned a lot about our team and learned a lot about what we need to strive for to get back to the top of the mountain. So yeah, I mean, we don't like to lose to anybody in three.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's even happened in,
Mhm.
in a few years, but it was a valuable lesson nonetheless.
Yeah, and I personally like your strategy of having them on the schedule and finding out what exactly needs to be focused on. And that was the fourth game, no, fifth, right? No, fourth game, no, fifth, yeah, fourth game of the season. And it's better to find out now than later. And I would assume this early in the game, when you say being some plays being inefficient, is that more of communication or strategy? Is it just trying to find the right mix, trying to find the rotation that you see not only live but also on tape that needs to be fixed? Would communication be one of the biggest points of that?
There was definitely some communication
Uh-huh.
um, errors where if you've played together a little bit
Hmm.
longer and you're more comfortable with the people on the court and the lineup, that those kind of things that build over time, the trust in each other, knowing what the other to expect from the other, the sort of just the chemistry on the court wasn't clicking right away. So there was
Yeah.
some miscommunication for sure. And that's again all part of like very common early season things that we have to figure out and iron out. And the main thing that really killed us efficiency wise was attacking.
Hmm.
We hit barely above a zero as a team. Bella Barrios hit very well and efficiently, but everywhere else on the court was basically a zero. And it's going to be tough to beat anybody with that kind of hitting efficiency, let alone the defending state champs. So that was just, we had some good opportunities to get kills and just couldn't find the court. Or would just were pretty error prone,
Hmm.
not making great hitting decisions. So
Hmm.
that's been a focus moving into this week is hitter vision and hitting
Hmm.
decisions and finding better connections with the new setters and the new hitters that we have.
Yeah, not as mentioned, it's one of those things that it's good. It's early on. Just want to bring out Isabella Barrios again, who had a tremendous, who had two tremendous games at the quad. First game, 7 kills on 13 swings for 10.5 points, and then the second game against Mount Sac, 15 kills and added 3 blocks in that game as well. Another one that other players that are playing well this early on is Mia Lundberg, leading the team with 70 points, averaging 3.2 kills per set, total attacks 186. You mentioned Trina Nguyen, 46 digs so far. Redshirt freshman Brendan McKenna right there at 45 digs, leading the team with on the digs per set as well. And so I think that's the most interesting part about this team. You have a combination mix of players that are veterans, you can call them, and some players that you're going to bring up as well. So yeah, last question for you, Coach. We play Ventura College today at home. If you guys haven't seen yet, the link is on the social media. Check out the women's volleyball team on Huddle. Um, you've had lots of success the last 2 years. Obviously, the state title 2 years ago and third place finish last season. What is it going to take in 2025 to accomplish or get back on top of the mountain this season?
I think we are very deep in the talent category, and it's going to be on us as a coaching staff to figure out how to maximize that potential, find out how we can best support the players in their development and their connection on and off the court to kind of get that magic sauce because we have. I believe what it takes in the passing, the setting, the hitting, the blocking, the serving categories. We have a lot of talent in all of those areas, and it's going to be fun to kind of find the pieces of the puzzle, how they can best fit together to help us become more efficient and give ourselves a chance at another title. But I definitely think we have the pieces, and every team has their challenges. So we're excited to work through those challenges and figure out how to solve what is always the mystery puzzle of
Mhm.
the perfect lineup and the perfect offense and defense. It's going to work best for your team every year. So we're excited to sort of tackle all of those challenges and sort of look forward to finding kind of the magic recipe for this team because I believe we have what it takes, and we're excited to find out exactly what that's going to look like.
Awesome. Well, once again, tonight, San Diego Mesa College hosting Ventura College at home at 5 p.m. Coach Bobbie Jo Stall-Vest, thank you once again for your time. Let's go get him tonight.
All right. Thanks, Bo.
Here's Bobbie Jo.